Hey guys, and welcome back to the Bible in Context series. This is episode 8, Shophetim, which is judges. So Shophetim means judges. Who would have thunk? This is a historical book, and it shows what happens when covenant obedience collapses. All right, who wrote it? Well, so the author is not named here. Jewish tradition points to Shmuel, but I don't care about any Jewish tradition. The text itself stays anonymous, though. That's the important part. And honestly, what matters is the pattern is being recorded, not the author. Well, when was it written? This was written during the period between Yahushua, which is Joshua, and the monarchy. So this spans several centuries after Yisra'el enters into the land. And where does it take place? Throughout the land of Canaan. So unlike Yahushua, the land is unsecured, or I should say not fully secured. So what is this about? Cycle, disobedience, oppression, crying out, deliverance, and relapse. Why was it written? This is to show what happens when Yisrael abandons Torah, how compromise leads to chaos, how partial obedience becomes full rebellion, and why righteous leadership matters. All right, so my simple outline, let me pull it up here. Beginning is failure to drive out the nations. The middle is repeating cycles of sin and deliverance. And then the end is moral collapse and civil war. All right, so key events is failure to remove the inhabitants of the land, oppression by surrounding nations, the rise of judges as deliverers, increasing moral and spiritual decay, and then civil war within Yisra'el. So the key verses that I personally have picked out, the first one is Shophetim 2, 11, and 12. Okay, and it says, Then the children of Yisrael did evil in the eyes of Yahuwah and served the Baals, and forsook Yahuwah Elohim of their fathers who had brought them out of the land of Mitzrayim, and went after other mighty ones of the people who were all around them, and they bowed down to them and provoked Yahuwah. First of all, ew, don't do that. Second, this explains the root problem: idolatry and abandonment. So the next verses I want to read are really, it's the same chapter, chapter 2, and it's just a couple verses down, but it's really important. It's going to be verses 16 through 19. Okay? And then Yahuwah raised up rulers who saved them from the hand of those who plundered them. However, they did not listen to their rulers either, but went whoring around after other mighty ones and bowed down to them. They soon turned aside from the way in which their fathers walked in obeying the commands of Yahuwah. They did not do so. And when Yahuwah raised up rulers for them, Yahuwah was with the ruler and saved them from the hand of their enemies all the days of the ruler. For Yahuwah had compassion on their groaning because of those who oppressed them and crushed them. And it came to be, when the ruler was dead, that they would turn back and do more corruptly than their fathers, to go after other mighty ones, to serve them and bow down to them. They did not refrain from their practices and from their stubborn way. This is like America. This shows the same repeated cycle of you're learning, then you're forgetting, and then he comes and he rescues you, and then you forget again. This is literally America right now, with this false churchianity nonsense. The next one is Shophetim 21:25. Okay, and it says, In those days there was no sovereign in Yisrael. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes. This summarizes the entire book in one sentence. And I mean the book of Judges, the book of Shophetim. The next video will be over Shmuel Aleph, which is 1 Samuel, so stay tuned.